Howdy, Desert Boy here. Hey, I just want to take a moment to talk to you about cowboy action shooting. Now, yeah, I'm really new to it. I've been thinking about it for quite a while, and so I've been, thought about it and said, I'm closer to 70 than I am 65. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'm getting a little bit too old for this, but it's been fine. And I'm glad that I went out and talked to folks and found out more about it. But I just wanted to share with you kind of my experiences and kind of a little bit about what it cost me and things. I'm not advocating you go out and do that, spend money or any of that. That's your own business. What you do. But just to kind of give you a general idea of what my walk was like with that. It's open to both men and women. They also have a younger age, like class of shooters. They have different styles of shooters. Ones that have two holsters, ones that have a holster and a cross draw, different things like that. So what happened was I was there's a nationwide group called S.A.S.S or Single Action Shooting Society. I would encourage you if you're interested to go to their website. They have the rules there. They talk about the spirit of the game. Trying to keep the old west alive. In the sense of being competitive, but most of all being safe. How about the how the competition is and also the whole idea about dressing the part, being in a Wild West gear. Different clubs might have different rules about how much latitude they'll give you about how modern your suspenders are, your boots or something. But generally, they want people to participate and enjoy, and it helps us keep history alive for other folks. So, what I did, I saw somebody out at the range, my local range, practicing that I thought was probably involved with that. Talked to them. There was an intro class coming up. Um, Went to that class. At that class, they go over the different aspects of it. Especially the first thing they always emphasize is safety, and it happened. Went to class at a range, and so there's maybe some paperwork they might want you to sign because you're at a range and so forth. But they have some lower caliber things just for you to get kind of a feel for it, like a couple 22 single actions and a 22, lever action, and maybe like a 410 or 20 gauge shotgun if you want to try that out. But anyway, it was a good way to get more information. So I went. I did go ahead and I went to a. They have a big statewide competition here in where I live at. So I went to that just as to observe because they kind of recommend it's kind of big to start on a match like that. Wait till we have a local match. And so that's kind of what I did. And it's for men and women, like I said. It's great competition, fun to watch. And everybody has a good time. They write stages or scenarios. So you might have 6 different scenarios of how your targets are set up and what order you shoot them in. Um, Usually you shoot 10 rounds of pistol, which is 5 each, 10 in the rifle, and usually 4 in the shotgun. And so, and it might be that you're, gold miners protecting a claim. It might be that you're trying to protect some outlaws from springing their buddy from prison. So usually when you start out, you'll be like, hey, you're not going to get my gold. You have a line that starts the whole scenario off. So it makes it real interesting, and I think it's fun. But anyway, so I went out there. Afterwards, somebody was kind enough. They had some extra time. They had a stage set up. And they walked me through a stage, and that's where I have this other pistol out here. But while we're talking about that, let's go ahead and check these unloaded real quick. This is this is my 45 Colt Blackhawk, right? It's unloaded. This is actually my hunting pistol, but it's the one I had out there that day with me, along with my Colt Vaquero, which is also unloaded. It's in 45. These are all 45 Colt, along with my rifle. And this is another Blackhawk, which is a 5.5-inch barrel, because 7.5-inch barrels are really a long draw. So most people, unless they have more historical guns, sometimes they might have black powder ones or something. A lot of those revolvers are really long. Most people have guns that are a little bit shorter, but that's why I bought the other Blackhawk, right? I also happened to have a rifle, which is a 45 Colt, this Rossi, which we can see is unloaded. And in the beginning, I did not have a shotgun. But one of the nice things is, depending on, of course, where you live at and what the laws are and all that stuff, regarding such things and doing things at matches. And anyway, somebody was able to loan me a shotgun so I could participate in the match. And we can see this 1897 replica is empty. It's a 12 gauge. So you have all those things going on. When I started out, I didn't have a cartridge belt. I had a couple of holsters that worked. They weren't the best thing, but it's what I had. In the meantime, when I decided to go ahead with it, I went and joined S.A.S.S. This year was about $80, and then they send you have a number, you have to pick a handle, like Wild Bill Hickok was probably not born Wild Bill Hickok, so it has to be an individual name that's not duplicated, and they give you a badge number. A lot of local groups have names and badges too. And like this is now my cartridge belt that I have. Okay, so it's my gun belt essentially, right? And I have a drop leg holster that's a triple K, I think, for about $85. This one here is a S.A.S.S cross draw, which I think I spent around $100 on, and about $56 for this belt, I think. So it's a real basic one for me just to get started. In addition to that, you need to have some way to carry your shotgun shells on your body. So I bought this guy, I think, for about 30 or 40 bucks, and put it on one of my old Core Essential belts to wear around my body. So what did I spend on the firearms, right? You might say, well, that's a lot of investment. Most people, when they get to this point, they probably already have a lever action. Like I said, a lot of times most people are in 38 or 45 Colt, but there's also historical ones, probably like 4440, and there's also some people that do black powder. And then there's the shotguns are like 12, 16, probably 20 gauge, usually. And I don't know whether they allow 410 or not. I'm not sure of that. But so I happen to already have this hunting pistol I had bought to replace one I'd given up. It says 7.5-inch one. And just for general purposes, I spent around $750 on that. But that was too long a barrel. I felt like I wanted something shorter. So I picked this guy up. And this guy was a couple $100 more than that, to be honest. But it has 2 cylinders because it also has 45 ACP. And this is Vaquero was about 800 it's used, and it had 2 cylinders too. The Rossi rifle, the lever action, I paid about $500 for this. You might find one like that used. I bought it new, but now they're probably about $700. And once again, this is this here I bought used for about $500, and it's a clone. It's not, from 1897. It'd be a lot more expensive than that. So yeah, I'm not advocating you do that. It's something you got to think about yourself. All my stuff, my handguns happen to be Rugers, but there's Uberte and Pieta make excellent Cowboy action type of clones of the 1873. Of course, Colt makes real ones. If you got a lot of money, you can buy one of those. Then there's also, I think Chiappa still makes some of that stuff, and then Taylor's and Company and Cimarron usually acquires, I think usually Ubertes, or sometimes they might get Chiappas, but usually Ubertes or Pietas, and they add their own flavor to them, maybe change the look of it, make a little more of a certain Western style or something like that, a cavalry model or something like that. So it's just kind of give you a general idea of what it's been like for me. I've had a great time. Everybody's been real good about helping you out. Like if you got questions about reloading, helping you reload. In my case, they're helping me understand reloading or hand loading because it's a lot of ammo. Like I said, you're going to shoot about 60, is my right? Let's see, you're going to shoot 10. You're going to shoot 10 pistol and 10 rifle. That's 20, right? Times 6, which is 120 rounds, right? Plus you're going to shoot about 24 to 30 rounds of shotgun shells at a match, so it can get kind of expensive. And when ammo runs, for 38s and 45s and things, it runs more like usually 35 to as, I don't know, $75 for a box with 45 Colts. You can never tell. And then shotgun shells, those are usually generally cheaper. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you, let you know what I was doing, how much I'm enjoying it, and hope to give you more information about it. First thing is I just go out there to be safe and enjoy myself, and enjoy the camaraderie of all the other folks, and just hanging out and having a day where we can be competitive but have a good time. So Tree Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. Bye now.